Hi. Fair warning, this video is gonna be tough. I'm gonna talk about a really dark time in my life where I was really depressed. I didn't want to do anything. I constantly needed to stimulate my mind, either play video games, have music, watch a video, smoke weed, and I did not feel happy to just be alive. Like, existence itself just hurt. And so this might be a difficult video for me to talk about, right? But I want to talk about it, and just share where I was at in life, right? And how I got to where I'm at now, why I stopped smoking weed, why it was ruining my life. And yeah, because now, I'm in a place where I feel like I can wake up and just be happy, just to exist. I can just, like, no stimulation, no nothing, just pure sober mind and not even looking at my phone or nothing. I can just wake up and be like, I'm happy to be alive. That is not something I was able to say 5 years ago. All right. So, let's get into it. And the first thing I want to say is that I'm not saying weed is bad. I'm not making a claim about this. You shouldn't smoke pot. No one should do it. Nothing. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying that for me in my life, this was destructive. This was toxic. This was a means of escapism. I was using it to avoid shit, pretend, live in my own world, and just sort of like numb myself and not feel anything, and not just ignore all the really depressing, dark thoughts in my mind. And that's why it was really unhealthy. If you're able to have a healthy relationship with weed, all power to you. As long as it's not affecting other aspects of your life, and you're able to it's healthy and happy, and you're satisfied with it, cool. That's fine. I'm sharing my experience. So, first things first is, as mentioned, this was escapism. This was me avoiding shit. It's a very unhealthy coping mechanism. It's actually not even really coping. It's just avoiding coping, right? So, why was I escaping? What was I escaping? What is the root of this, right? Because a lot of times when people talk about, like, oh, the problem is you're a weed head, the problem is you're addicted to weed, you won't stop smoking weed. No, that's not the problem. There is a problem, and we're using weed to avoid the problem, right? So if we want to, it's not stop the weed smoking, it's stop the problem, so you don't need to use weed to unhealthily cope with the issue, right? My experience. So the problem for me was my trauma, and I've talked about my trauma a lot on this channel, and I'll mention a little bit about it again. But I first want to say my trauma was not feeling good enough. That's what my trauma caused. It caused me to not feel good enough. Now, what does that actually feel like when you don't feel good enough? If you just close your eyes and just feel not feeling good enough, what does that feel like? It feels like emptiness. It feels like something's missing, and you're just yearning. You just need that. You need that validation. You need affection. You need something from other people to sort of make you feel better, or else you just don't feel good enough. Something is lacking. It feels like lack. It's a shitty feeling, right? So when you're feeling like something's lacking, what can you do about it? One is, the healthy way is to get rid of that lacking at the core, so you don't feel like you need anything. Another way is to fill that hole with unhealthy shit: junk food, TV, video games, alcohol, in my case, weed. Okay? So just to remind some of y'all about my trauma, since I've talked about it a few times, is I had really, really, really bad eczema growing up. You can see old remains of it. It's mostly gone now, but it was covering my hands, my elbows, my knees. It was gross. And the other peers around me thought it was gross, so I felt outcasted, didn't feel validated, didn't feel good enough, felt like I was cursed, something's wrong with me. And right there is where it started. I'm 5 years old. I don't think I'm good enough. It's getting ingrained into my mind. Now, as I'm growing up, I'm learning ways to get validation from other people. That became my first way of coping with not feeling good enough. So I would misbehave in class, make the whole class laugh, and then I can feel better about myself, right? And that was like one of the first ways of coping. And then as getting older, it started evolving a little bit. It started becoming, I want to be popular. If I'm popular and everyone likes me, then I can like start maybe feeling a little bit good enough, right? And I felt really, I still kind of feel bad about this to this day, because I had like my main core friend group in like 4th grade, and then like something switched and I was like, oh, I need to be popular now. And then I started sitting with the kids that were more popular, and I feel bad to this day, man. But that topic can be explored another time. But the point is, that was another way of me coping with not feeling good enough, trying to fill that hole, right? And now, getting into high school, this is when I was exposed to weed, okay? And yeah, there was peer pressure involved, but there was also curiosity. And I didn't do it at first thinking, oh, I need something to make me feel better about myself. No, it was just like, oh, I'm just gonna smoke weed, whatever. And then the feeling it gave me was like, oh shit, now I feel less socially anxious. Now I feel happy to just be in the moment. Now I don't feel like I need so much approval from everyone. And I just feel better. I didn't realize how shitty I felt. I didn't even know. I wasn't even aware of how ass I felt until smoking weed, and I was like, this feels great. So I'm gonna just keep fucking doing this. I'm just gonna keep on doing this because I can just keep feeling better. And it was a high, right? It started as that, right? But then I reached the age where I had like, I'll call it a girlfriend. We weren't officially boyfriend and girlfriend, but we basically did what boyfriends and girlfriends did. And it was one of those no label things. But anyways, when she broke up with me, and that was my first heartbreak, I didn't know how to handle that at all. I was in my mind like, oh, this doesn't affect me. I'm just going to move on and next thing. But I was just so like not even realizing what I was doing, because instead how I was handling the heartbreak is being high like 24/7, dude. I was getting high every day. And it reached a point where I was so numb to where I don't know if anyone's ever experienced this, but where if you constantly are high, you don't even feel high anymore. It's just like becomes your normal state. And then when the high wears off, you just feel like shit. And then you need to keep smoking to sort of like make yourself feel not like shit, just back to like maintenance, back to like normal level, you know? It's like, this is normal. At first, when you smoke weed, it takes you up here, you're on a high. But then if you smoke weed every day, all the time, constantly, you naturally feel down here, and you just need the weed to just bring you back up to like not feeling horrible. But it still felt horrible, and I was really depressed. I would just spend so much time laying in bed, scrolling on my phone, always watching something, eating so much junk food, playing so much video games. I was just starting to, I barely scraped by with D's and C's the rest of that semester. My teachers really helped me. But, you know, it was bad, dude. And it just, so I smoked weed for about 3 years, right? And that last year is when it got really bad. So all of this to say what? I was using weed to make myself feel like I'm okay. I was not healed from the not good enough trauma yet. I still felt not good enough. I felt not okay, unsettled, like something's missing. There's a hole in there, right? So the weed made me go from not feeling okay to I feel okay. And that translated also with social situations. I feel like I'm not as good enough as the rest of my peers, so now it can make me feel like I'm okay like the rest of the people, and it made me feel like I'm okay from this heartbreak. But the truth is that I wasn't okay, and this was a unhealthy way of, it's like artificially making myself feel okay, but not actually truly healing. It's just band-aiding the wound, but not actually healing it from the inside, you know? So all of this, what does this all come down to? It comes down to one word, and that word is fear. And this is something I've learned throughout my whole journey of life in general, is usually in anything that I need to grow in, the number one thing stopping me is fear of some sort. Fear is a very broad thing, and there's so many different types of fears. This particular fear was a fear of facing my own inner world, a fear of facing the fact that I didn't feel good enough. I didn't even consciously realize this yet. I didn't even acknowledge this. I didn't even know. I was in denial of that. I was just like, I'm fine from this heartbreak. I'm good enough. I'm popular. I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm okay. Because me kind of like deluding myself was another kind of coping mechanism to deal with it, right? But again, the reason, so smoking weed was a fear of facing things head on, because it was me escaping it instead. Instead of me actually looking inside and saying, why don't I feel good? Why don't I feel happy? Why don't I feel okay? Instead of me looking inside and asking those questions, I just said, no, I'm just going to cheat and just smoke weed and automatically feel okay this instance. And then when the weird weed wears off, I'm not going to feel okay again, but it's okay. Just smoke it again. Just keep on smoking it. And then I'll just keep feeling okay until it reaches the point where I don't feel okay and I just need it to maintenance and blah. All that sucks. So depressing. So around COVID time, this is around when I'm graduating high school, I was, because of the virus, I wasn't able to be in contact with the person that I was getting weed from at the time. And then the other person that I think stopped selling, I don't remember. But anyways, I didn't have access to it for a good 9 months. After these, and I could have, like, if I really wanted to find it, I probably could have, but I also knew this was a problem, man. Like, I started to realize this is not good. But I didn't know why yet. I didn't understand that I was using it to escape and not feeling good enough and all that stuff yet. But after about 9 months, of a good amount of time has passed, I'm like getting ready to go to college at this point, and I'm kind of like, just enough time has passed where I've just been like sober, where I'm just sort of starting to reflect back, and I'm like, damn, what was going on? Why was I doing that? Like, I kind of feel okay now. I remember a time where I literally needed to smoke constantly. What the hell was up with that? And I start journaling about this, and I had a lot of big breakthroughs in this journal, and it was a beautiful day outside in nature. I've been eating really healthy, and I just felt good, and I'm just journaling, okay? And I asked myself, why don't I feel okay? What's the number one thing stopping me from feeling happy? Because I just feel like I'm constantly in search for something. What am I searching for? What am I looking for? I feel like I'm constantly just going somewhere. I'm just needing something constantly. I just feel like that. I started realizing I'm feeling like that. Why? And that's where I start learning about my trauma. It hit me. I'm thinking about what could have made me not feel good enough, and I'm like, oh, that's it. The eczema is where it started, and I do think that there's a lot of things in our traumas that we won't remember, and that's okay. We don't have to remember everything, but I think the main point is realizing that I don't feel good enough. And how can I heal from that? How can I start feeling better? Part of this fear of facing things head on was that I was afraid of being alone in my own thoughts, just to sit in existence, to just sit there, not stimulate myself, not look at a video, not listen to music, nothing, just be in the silence of my own thoughts. That shit was actually terrifying. And weed really got me out of that. Because like I was saying, right? Existence itself hurt. That's why I'm trying to escape. Not feeling good enough hurt so bad that I needed to escape from it. Existence itself hurt. But in my journal breakthrough, that's where I'm realizing, oh, existence hurts. Why does existence hurt? Let's deal with that. Right? That's where I realize, okay, I feel insufficient. I feel not good enough. Okay? And I've made whole videos. You should watch my video called Being Kind to Myself Changed My Life. The whole video is about healing from not feeling good enough. I share a lot of things about that. But I want to kind of try to keep this on track here. It's been like 4 years since I smoked weed, dude. Like I've smoked once or twice in those 4 years and I hated it both times. It sucked. I don't like it anymore. Now when I smoke it, I actually feel more anxious. So I just don't like it anymore. But I think I feel like, and maybe this is my own like spiritual belief, I don't know, but I feel like my body has just outgrown it at this point. My body is just like, maybe my body just associates it with that like depressing time of my life, so where now it's just like I feel fine. And smoking weed again kind of like takes me back to that. That's a theory, I don't know. But here's the biggest key that I kind of want to the takeaway from everything that I've kind of said is like the things we use to bring us pleasure are often the things we use to escape from what we need to heal from. Say that again. The things we use for pleasure are often the things we use to escape from what we need to heal from. I'm not saying pleasure is bad. Go do fun shit, of course. But when it's up to the point where it's like, I can't feel happy unless I do this thing, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when it became a problem for me. I don't want to escape life. I want to embrace life. I want to feel my existence. I want to feel what it is to be a human while I'm a human. Before I die, I want to experience this, right? But what is escapism? It's escaping from that very experience. The whole point of life is to live. The whole point of life is to experience what it is to be a human being on this planet. But when we are doing some form of escapism, we're just leaving that. We're leaving the whole purpose of life. So if we don't figure out how we can make existence feel good, it's a big problem. We're not going to be able to enjoy this life. One life, man, and it can be such a beautiful life. But instead of using these things to escape from whatever reason we don't feel good, whatever reason we don't feel okay, instead of using all this shit to escape from that, let's look at it at the core. Ask ourselves, why do I feel this way? What may have caused it? And how can I feel better? These are the big questions to ask ourselves and to journal about, you know? And that's what my whole channel is literally about, how to feel better. That's like my whole channel is, so like I don't want to make this video about all of those things, because I don't want to make this video longer than it is, but it's just like, those are the questions we need to ask ourselves. And the whole journey, like getting into Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, learning about the chakra system, it really helped me heal a lot. Alan Watts, a philosopher, really did wonders on my just feeling good. I really recommend Michael Singer. Just look, like, those are like the thing, like I would say, one, consume content, whether that's going to help you feel better, like philosophy or religion type shit. You know, for me, it was Eastern religions and certain philosophers like that I just shared. But and then do your own journaling and ask yourself your own personal questions. Hey, so I didn't really like how I ended my last recording, so I kind of want to just come on here and give the key takeaway from this video. So like I said prior in this video, is often the things that bring us pleasure are the very things we use to escape from what we need to heal from. Okay, but we can never heal until we face these things head on, until we stop using these things that just bring us pleasure and stimulation. When we stop using that shit to escape, that's when we start actually facing the real things and start healing that wound from the core, instead of just putting a temporary band-aid on it over and over and over again and never actually healing, But the fear of doing that is what stops us, because it's scary. We have to face something that's hard. It's easier to just be like, oh, let me just get high to just pretend like this isn't there so I don't have to deal with it, because it's scary, right? So recognizing that it's fear of doing that is what stops us. So my journey of quitting weed was actually a journey of facing my fear of entering my inner world. Entering my inner world is doing the inner work. And I'm telling you, the inner work is worth it. It has made me happy to feel alive. I feel good enough. I don't need to use substances or other forms of stimulation to make me feel okay. I just naturally, as a human being, have passion, drive, energy, joy, gratitude, happiness. This is things that I wake up with. And I think every human being would naturally wake up with this when we do the inner work to heal. This is the natural human state. Children run around and are naturally happy. Don't need to stimulate themselves like crazy to be happy, So it's about doing the inner work is what allows us to come back to that natural pureness and just be a naturally happy, passionate, energetic human being, And if you're wondering, like, okay, like, what is inner work? Everything I talk about on this channel is inner work. For me, inner work is doing the reflection, the introspection, journaling, therapy, and to expand my awareness of my inner world and what's going on. Why do I think the way I think? Why do I process emotions the way I process emotions? Do I feel good enough? How do I actually feel? Am I happy and satisfied? If not, why? It's asking these big questions and learning about ourselves, why we are the way we are, and how we can be a happier person. That's what it's been. That's what the inner work has been like for me. And it's about facing it, because it can be scary, I know. But I just want to say, like, it was totally worth it. And I don't even want to say was, I want to say is, because I'm still growing, and I always will be doing inner work until the day I die, because I want to keep coming more and more and more happy and fulfilled. It's so worth it. I went from being extremely depressed every day, so unhappy to just exist. I hated life, hated myself, and fucking I'm so happy now. It's crazy. So anyways, I love you, and I hope this video can be like supportive if you were on a similar journey. This is just the things that have helped me, and I'm sure I'll make more videos about this on the future. Let me know if you want more videos on this. I can talk about a lot more stuff. And yeah, that's my shit. I hope you have a good day. Thank you so much for watching this and for supporting the channel. If you want to support the channel even more, please drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you're going through an experience. I want to be there to support you if I can. And I love you. Bye.